Okay. Oh, better. Okay, good morning and welcome to Good Morning Anambra. Sometimes it's difficult to join the Good Morning and then Good Morning Anambra. Welcome. Today is Thursday and I'm sure that you are already seated to join us in the newspaper review this morning. My name is Sijama Uche. Do stand by. Welcome again. To join me this morning to look at what the papers are saying now, Mr. Oluebube Ngige is a public affairs analyst. Oluebube, you're welcome to Good Morning Anambra.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Okay. And then Paulson Okeke, also a public affairs analyst. Welcome, Paulson.
Good morning. Good morning, viewers. Join us, please.
Okay. As usual, we begin from the beginning. That's from our ABS website, www.absradiotv.com. And from there, we'll have the first story saying, Anambra Deputy Governor Ibezim inspects the silting of Sakamori drainage system in Okpoko, Obaru Council area. Anambra State Government removes illegal structures at Hillview Estate, Unkwele Zunaka. Easter, Friday 15th and Monday 18th April, public holidays. Anambra State Government restates resolve to tackle environmental challenges. And finally, from our website this morning, INEC worries over persistent invalid registrations. These and many more are the stories you'll find from our website this morning, www.absradiotv.com. Okay, let's look at this one. We're going to merge maybe three stories here. The first one, the second one, and the fourth one. That is, Anambra Deputy Governor Ibezim inspects the silting of Sakamori drainage system in Okpoko, Obaru Council area. We're going to join it with removal of structures at number 2, and then number 4, Anambra State Government restate resolve to tackle environmental challenges. Let me start with you, Mr. Paulson Okeke.
Yeah. The system of Sakamori drainage has been something that has been ongoing for a very long time. If anybody who is abreast with the history of drainage system in Onitsha should know that Sakamori links Okpoko and the greater parts of Onitsha south, then down to River Niger. So many a time that drainage is blocked. And it's not just blocked, it is silted. Because if you take inspection on that, because I have joined Governor P2B when he was there to do some desilting there. Whenever they are doing it, it will be as if you are not doing anything. Because just one rain, the whole place will be silted. So Sakamori has been one strong area when it comes to blocking of drainages in Onitsha. Because it leads into the Wangene stream or Wangene river, if I will call it that, empties into the river Niger. But then, the way it is blocked is always a major cause for concern.
The way it is blocked. So why is it difficult to get that place unblocked? Why do we continue silting
human activities
after government?
Human activities in these areas. Because people will pour their refuse dumps into the drainages and it will empty there. Check the life of the lives in Okpoko, the human activities in Okpoko, in Ochanja, and in all those areas. So all these people will empty their refuges into the drainages and it keeps on blocking and blocking and blocking. I could remember sometime when was it Creek Road in Onitsha, when there was that mountain of refuse there. They were all part of the problem that blocked the Sakamori. So Sakamori, we know, was a World Bank project. But today, it's no longer serving that purpose. So now the government has paid attention once more to desilting it, in order to contain the environmental problem in Onitsha. I think it is a good idea.
Yeah.
Then another one, like you said, is in a housing estate at Nkwele Zunaka. That's urban renewal, removing the illegal structures to make the city, the layout what it is. It is very good. But I'm appealing to the government that it is only to do it in Nkwele Zunaka, in Hillview Estate in Nkwele Zunaka. Oka needs a lot of urban renewal. Because if you pass across the streets, you will see a lot of illegal structures, containers here and there, street trading going on here and there. So why is the government is doing something in Onitsha? Let them keep Oka in view. Okay. It is quite
also
necessary.
keep Oka in view in your environmental projects. Okay, still talking on environment, Mr. Ngige. Anambra State government restates resolve to tackle environmental challenges. What are the environmental challenges you think we're having in Anambra State that need to be tackled?
I want to agree with what my brother was saying. You know, the issue of town planning is something that must be taken into, in fact, it has to be taken seriously in Anambra State because, especially in the state capital, Oka, you see that a lot of trenches, drainages, a heavy erosion that happens, even in the market, Ekoka there. You find out that it's as a result of illegal structures, blockages, and everything. And when you talk about the increase in issues of health, these are some of the things one should look out for. And in Oka, and not just in Oka, we have one, as you're going down to Ibariam, you have the whole route. So I think the government, since they have reinstated their resolve to tackle environmental challenges, these are some of it. And then you talk about security, because when you're talking about environment, you can't leave security out of it. And you see that primarily when we are healthy, next thing we should be talking about is the health state of the members of the communities in Anambra State. So I think it's a good headway, and I encourage them, and I think they should do everything they can to ensure proper town planning in Anambra State.
Okay, proper town planning. All right, away from environment now, let's look at the last story in our website this morning. INEC worries over persistent invalid registrations. And we are expecting another election by next year, that's 2023, and we are still talking about problems of registration as concerns, the validity and the invalidity of voters' register.
I keep on wondering, why should we always have invalid registration? Is it that the people who do the registration are not doing it well? Or is it the use of the technology they are using? Or does it mean that those who are registering, the prospective voters, they don't know their names to give the details? So these are the worries. Because somebody cannot appear for registration, at the end of the day say the registration is invalid. It means either the equipment you use to do that has a lot of problems, or that you don't know how to handle the equipment. Therefore, they should be trained before ever you are given a machine to go and do registration. They have to be trained adequately. They have to be properly guided on how to do things, because if you keep on having invalid registration, at the end of the day, you may end up not having anybody registered at all. Or the people you registered will not be up to the numbers that are expected. We have a supposedly voter population of more than 100 million. And if we were to say we should register all of them, and we keep on having invalid registration, at the end of the day, we might be having up to 10 or 15 million people. And that doesn't represent the population of our voting strength. So that is why INEC, I'm putting it back to INEC. They should train their staff who are doing these registrations on the equipment they are using to avoid the cases of the repeated cases of invalid registration.
There's something that worries me over this INEC registration and all other independent registrations. In Nigeria, we see that there are duplicates of registrations, not just INEC. You see NIN, you see a lot of duplicated. And I was wondering, are these not government-based database that can easily be synced from one place to the other? Why? What is the need for these duplicates? You see people filing inconveniencing them.
And a whole lot
of them. Can things be synced with this almighty NIN? It's a worry.
Okay, it's a worry. Well, let's leave it there, hoping that we'll get a change very soon. Okay, let's venture into the papers and then get the stories that are making the rounds there too. Our first paper this morning is the National Star. A whole lot of stories on the front page of the National Star, but we'll have to start somewhere. The banner headline there says, Bayelsa, Ebonyi, Rivers, top list of states with invalid PVCs. Of course, we just talked about that. With a rider there, as INEC begins distribution of 1,390,519 cards. Okay, that's about the PVCs. Let's look at other stories there. I am not part of those looking for consensus candidates. This one is coming from Wiki. I am not part of those looking for consensus candidates. And these stories are on top of the, below the name template of the National Star. Osinachi, husband denies responsibility for wife's death. And then massive corruption affects all levels of government in Nigeria. This one is coming from the U.S. Massive corruption affects all levels of government in Nigeria, even the family government. Okay, and then down here I have this other story. Government kill a Ebonyi businessman 1 week to wedding. Very pathetic one. Justice Maha accused of bias against IPOB members. Okay, these are the stories on the front page of the Daily. Okay, on top of the name template, I have this one that said 5 cores feared killed as gunmen attacked 2 Anambra police facilities. Very scary stories. Okay, Mr. Ngige.
I want to quickly speak about the Osinachi husband's denial and all of that. It's very, very clear. It is crystal clear. In fact, it's beyond denial. You can say you did not cause the death. I think what we have is that she died in the hospital. She couldn't have said she killed her in the hospital. So obviously, yes, he may not have killed her in the hospital, but the things that have led to the death has been categorically stated over the years, over the short period of time. In fact, the family has come out to narrate the ordeals. And it's even another thing for young women and also parents. Because when I looked at this whole thing, I blamed bad parenting, because the boys you're not training today are going to become the worst husbands of your trained daughters. So these are things that should come out as a lesson from this. While I encourage the fact that he has been arrested, I think he needs to be probed even more, so that things, if stories that we don't even know, will come out. And they're not just coming out because we want to bring back our dear sister Osinachi, but it is important for us to use that as a learning point, and also see if we can revitalize the responsibilities of parents in the house. Because you don't see somebody quite intelligently put up a write-up to say, when you're small, when you present a food that your 3-year-old son does not like, and he starts behaving in a way or expressing anger, you just will be like these children of nowadays. This is how he starts. Okay. By them making unnecessary choices and all of those, before you know it, you raise the worst husband. And most average boys today believe that women are supposed to, in fact, serve them as another maid they have in the house. So I think this man should be probed. And in fact, he's not just responsible so far. He's accused of domestic violence, wife battering, threat to life, quite a number of things, and all that comes with it.
Mother.
So it not only be that, sorry, let me join him. It shouldn't be only that, because there was this post that said that all of us killed Osinachi.
Society.
I wondered why all of us. That now reflected the society.
Yes.
Because the society always despises any divorcee or any woman who leaves her husband's home and comes back to the society despises her. It should not be. We should encourage the society, encourage women, work out. Whenever you are in a marriage and you discover that this marriage is not giving you what you want, work out.
I made a post there, I think it was 2 days ago, yesterday. So I was blaming religion. so much.
Yes.
It is
Because
the society.
Yes.
It could be religion, it could be, but we have to blame the society and the religion, like you said.
Religion is part of the society.
Yeah, because
anyway.
the religion deceived us by the time he's telling us for better, for worse.
And not just that.
And this better for worse. This better for
It's a
worse.
deceit.
This better for worse are not biblical.
It's not biblical.
If I will argue, they're not biblical.
It's
in fact, the laws of God that is enshrined in between Genesis, Leviticus, and all of those gave the procedure. Even God provided that if you marry 2 wives, and at the end of the day, the one you hated gave you the first son. God, the instruction is make sure that the provisions and the possessions and what is rightfully that belongs to the son is given, not because of your hate, but because this is the principle and how he laid this.
You marry a wife,
so
and
all these
her,
theories about
this
not divorcing is, and also women that think they can change men over the years, they should be careful. If you see the signs.
Yeah, one just walked out yesterday because of her wedding. That was supposed to come up on Saturday because of what is trending, and the guy has started beating her even before the wedding, so she had to come up the wedding yesterday.
The society, we in the media should do much more than sensitize the society, sensitize young girls and even boys.
I think
the
we are
moment
doing
you
our
marry and this marriage does not give you what you want, please walk out.
Please
you
walk
better.
out.
Marriage is only for the living, not for the dead.
Thank you very much. Okay, let's look at this story here before we get to other papers. I am not part of those looking for consensus candidates. We saw what happened. Was it 2 days ago when the news broke that the Southeast politicians, let me just put it like that because they're coming from different backgrounds apart from the fact that it is PDP that was mentioned. They said that they have brought out a consensus candidate that is going to take contest on behalf of this region, and it was a very, very welcomed development. We're all happy for that. And now Wike is speaking. That is not part of a consensus candidate. What do you expect coming from the South?
Wike is a Nigerian. It is his right to contest. But one thing remains, the party has not said anything about zoning. That is where everybody is, the PDP has got it wrong. Because up till now, PDP should have told Nigerians, this is where we are tilting to. We are going to the east or we are going to the north, or it is open. So that everybody will know. But for Wike to say it's not part of the consensus, if the party says we are going this way, he has no choice. He's a party member.
And primarily, the rotation, if it is, in Nigeria has always been between primarily north and south.
Yeah.
That's primary. But then when you come to the sub-regions, it's the geopolitical zones, it becomes...
that's what I want to add.
So when you go to the north, you sort yourself out.
If the PDP has said we are giving it to the southeast, for instance, Wike, the rug should have been pulled off Wike's feet.
PDP said that no zoning that is open.
They have not made it open officially, categorically.
Really?
They have not. Not until they say so. It is open. If you watch what Bukola Saraki, governor of Bauchi State, Tamboa, and Samsudin are doing, they are still talking about consensus in the north.
Okay.
So that's why the southern candidates are even talking about the same consensus, so that they don't have to bring a discordant house. They want to harmonize.
Which has always been the case anyway. Yeah. All right, let's move on. Vanguard newspaper is the next in our lineup here. And then on the front page of the Vanguard newspaper, outrage at Sultan Khan, MBF, reps lament killings. Okay, well, I think we're going to deal very much on the security issues now, because down here I have another one that said insecurity, 31 killed in Southeast in 72 hours. Still coming from the Vanguard anyway. So let's look at what is this spate of insecurity all about? Why people are being murdered every day in the Plateau areas, southern Kaduna, down here in the east. Our politicians are busy picking up and declaring, they are picking up their funds and declaring their interest for 2023. What is going on security-wise? Do you see 2023 being a reality?
Yeah, I see it being a reality. But one thing remains, like you say, what is the problem? We have a problem of failure of a system. Our security architecture has failed. The government has failed. We cannot be having a national security advisor for 80 years. And the same thing, there has been no valid advice to contain the security situation, and yet the same person is there. We cannot be having all these security chiefs here and there, and they cannot nip these situations in the bud. Nigeria has become a barrier ground. The cost of life is so cheap. Because if say 10 killed in Anambra today, they will say, is it up to 20 that was killed yesterday in Plateau?
It has become a very normal thing for us.
It's normal. We don't talk about death now. We are talking about the numbers. Or is it only 10 you are talking about? 50 we are killed in Niger, and so on.
This is bad.
So it's bad. And that is why we keep on talking. We should be talking to the government that promised us security that has failed us. Because they have failed us. Any government that could not secure lives and property is a failed government. The federal government has failed. We should not be pretending about it any longer.
Okay, before you come in, let's join in with the story from the Punch newspaper. I think they're talking the same thing, but this one from a different angle. Punch newspaper, security agents aiding bandits. Sorry. Okay, security agents aiding bandits, alleged reps, demand NSA minister sacking. You just mentioned NSA, Nigerian security advisor.
And Minister for Defense.
Okay.
They should go.
And the reps is now demanding for their sack. Okay. Okay, so you can now come in.
You know, what worries me is that Nigeria seems not to be dynamic with their approach. They are so rigid with a particular approach and expecting different results. One is that when you have a categorical look or a bird-eye view of the security system in Nigeria, it tells you that your approach over the years, even with PDP government and everything, has failed. Now, what ensures security, for example? You are in your house, that's primarily. You understand the terrain, you know the nook and crannies around your house that could lead to invasion if you're not careful. You take care to protect it. So now in Nigeria, as a wider scope, you see that the concentration of government security architecture is concentrated somewhere in Abuja, far from the people. Now you christen the governors of all the states, chief security officers, giving them limited very limited space to operate in terms of security. Why not delineate this? Why not cut it off? Why not restructure security to encourage community policing, which was the reason for the most recent agitation around all the regions in this country? When people are elected to lead, they enter that seat and they forget they were there. They were some time begging for support, and people chose them to represent. And now they are there. They are not thinking about the people who brought them there. They're just there thinking so myopic that they have some kind of relationship with a figurative or an object called Nigeria that is so indivisible. You forgot that the people who are talking to you are members of the communities who are crying out loud. You surround yourself with security officials from top to bottom, armed to the teeth, and then you forgot about the common man on the street. So now the approach to security in Nigeria, as far as I'm concerned, is community policing. No matter how we run away from it, no matter how we shy away from it, this is what will bring an everlasting solution. Because you can't say
community policing is the vigilante things.
Just like you see, I don't know what you call vigilante, but
when you go to
United States,
we are also calling for
let me explain
state
something.
Police.
Just like you have state police, it's even beautiful. Just when you go to US, you just have to up to different for each state have their own security. You have the NYPD for New York. You have a sheriff. You have different structures. Then you have the national armies that are there to protect the interest of the nation at its boundaries. So you find out that we are here compacting issues for ourselves. You have the armies confused with what their responsibility is.
You know where I'm having there? Our military men will tell you that the bandits, that we chase them, they run into the bush and they come back. Look at the attack at the Kaduna airport, where we were told that over 200 men came on motorbikes. And over 200 men attacked the airport, attacked the installations, and killed the security guys. You came and you chased them into the bush, then they ran away, you came back.
And that is why I agree with this headline, you understand? That there is a sense of collaboration.
So why is federal government treating such issue with kids' gloves? Now, there was this satellite pictures where the bandits were picked in the bush. and they have known them. So why wouldn't our military go after them? So the problem we keep on having is that the federal government keeps treating these security issues with kids' gloves.
Why do you think so?
And
why do you think they do that?
I wouldn't know. I don't think it is insufficiency, and I don't think it is complacency.
I don't think Ngige knows
they
too.
keep on,
So
they
let's
are
go
not
on.
sincere yet in tackling the security challenges.
Of course, what they are alleging that there might be some form of collaboration.
What are they collaborating for?
Now,
to kill everybody in Nigeria?
Now, let me tell you something. In Nigeria, there are lots that we need to know than we are knowing. There are more that meets the eye.
Of course.
These are things that when they tell you, the people, the attack, the train attack, suggested somebody was narrating, an eyewitness inside there, said that somebody seated inside that train was pointing out well-to-do persons to these bandits. It's on the internet. So if an insider was planted there and it was not dictated, what are we doing?
How could they have dictated people
What
that
is
paid?
what is the
no, people
intelligence
that
do?
paid to enter plane, and you wouldn't know that some of them are bandits.
That means
you're
belittling.
Yes,
the covert operations of the security system has collapsed.
that is just the bottom line.
That is it.
Okay, let's move on. Leadership is an paper this morning, and the banner headline there says 24 hours after Northern Elders' resignation call to PMB, that's President Muhammadu Buhari, federal government vows to unveil perpetrators of Kaduna Plateau attacks. It has some riders. Let's look at them. It says, we are working to free abductees. A call for President's resignation, not solution to insecurity. This one is coming from the presidency. Reps lament protracted terrorist attacks, ask President to implement security summit report. And then a final rider there says, insurers may cough out 119 million naira compensation for train attack victims. Okay, this is still talking about insecurity. Let's look at other stories. 1.8 million new PVCs ready for collection coming from INEC. NLC gives federal government 21 days to resolve crisis in education sector. And then 29 die, others missing in South boat mishap. Too much deaths in this country. Okay, let's look at this particular story. NLC gives federal government 21 days to resolve crisis in education sector. We have actually talked about every other story here. Let's look at this one now. Okay, so what is going on?
The ultimatum, I will regard it as one of those playing to the gallery. Honestly, because NLC had given threats and threats and threats every time. Ultimatums after ultimatums, and nothing happens. But one unfortunate thing, like I was discussing with one of my friends yesterday, is ASO, every time you're on strike, ASO, where is the national interest in your strike? Where is the students' interest in your strike? So is it all about you? You keep on talking about improvement of education facilities, improvement of learning, improvement of this. So could you go back to school and you begin to negotiate for all these things? Asking students, closing the universities to be on strike in order to be negotiating is counterproductive. It is not good. It's not in the interest of Nigerians. Whatever thing, ASU should call off the strike and continue their negotiation while the students remain in the school. Every time strike is not good. It's not good for ASU as a union, because it shows that they are self-seeking, they are selfish. They don't consider any other thing other than their welfare and the welfare of, and not the welfare of their students.
Okay.
Yeah. There are two ways to this. First is what my brother has just highlighted, and the second part is that ASU is not looking, they're not looking inward to see what they can do for themselves. There was a program I was watching when P2B was making a speech. He spoke about the alumni and the fundraising. He spoke about some sort of internal arrangements that proper management would have not even made us think about what government is doing to the extent that they decided to go on strike. So you see that there are a lot of things that has to be done internally, which they are not actually doing.
They are doing, because most ASU lecturers still lecture in UNIZIC, and still go to Godwin Okoye University to lecture, and they still go to Tansi University to lecture. So they have multiple places they lecture. You understand? Okay. And they collect salaries. And they will still come back and fall on the federal government that you are not doing this for us, you are not doing that. Why you have about 3-4 places? I'm not about a particular lecturer that goes to Delta State, one school in Delta State, another one at Delta Polytechnics, another one Tansi University, and still he's in Unizik. Okay. So when you have all these multi-jobs, you are collecting money, why should you stop federal government from allowing school system to go on?
Okay.
They are not sincere.
They're not sincere. Let's move on. I actually wanted to see the angle of the NLC getting involved in the ASU thing. Okay, when they've not solved their own problems. Now, let's look at the new Telegraph. The new Telegraph is our next paper this morning. Airlines begin tickets sell in dollars. April 19. So you have rubbished your naira. And then airlines begin ticket sales in dollars. April 19. So if you don't have dollars, are you laughing as I am? So what happens to your money?
It will be for foreign travelers, not Nigerians.
Okay, let's watch and see. And down here, fallen angels, the unknown gunmen holding South is captive. Okay, I think there's another story that we missed up there that says, okay, let's look at this one first. Herdsmen taking over 68 Beron villages, killed 11,000 people. This is the kind of story you see in all the pages of newspapers in Nigeria, and you keep wondering, Madobi Onokwanona. Do we still have, okay, Buhari's resignation, no solution to security challenges. Presidency replies, NEV. This is what we have seen. Let's look at the issue of this unknown government holding Southeast to captive before we get to another paper. And Giga, I'm starting with you.
You know, the funny thing, I was just looking at the herdsmen attack. In fact, it says herdsmen taking over 68. This was the same thing the particular man that is being held captive, Nnamdi Kanu, was saying. That herdsmen are doing this, herdsmen are doing that, herdsmen are doing that. And obviously it was denied. Now in Zamfara community, now Zamfara has a deposit of gold that has not been made a national cake as the oil in the southeast. The things about security and insecurity happening in this country is something that, just like my brother said, has been treated with kid glove. And now, here is this man behind bars or in DSS custody, held down because of insecurity. And now it has multiplied. In fact, there is no page of papers that you cannot flip and you will not see insecurity. And just like he said, it's just about the statistics. And I think the governor also reiterated it. That it shouldn't be, security of this country shouldn't be about these statistics. It should be about practical approach to understanding what these issues are. How can you have herdsmen that have guns? What kind of cow are you handling with guns?
Are you saying that if they're holding Nnamdi Kanu because they considered him a security threat, who would they hold now?
That's what I'm assuming, because it's useless holding him there.
Okay.
And a lot of natural resources are being spent by the Ministry of Justice in the prosecution. So what are we doing in this country? This money should be voted to security and not to distraction.
All right. We move on. Don't get worked up. Oh. Otherwise, I'll bring you a glass of water now to cool down your temper.
Of course.
Okay, Daily Trust is our next paper this morning. The banner headline there say, how bride-to-be 28 others die in Sokoto mishap. Very, very unfortunate stories. And down here, APC presidential ticket, Buhari's body language unsettles Osibanjo, Tinubu, Amechi, and others. Let's join it with a Daily Independent newspaper. Federal government prefers politicking to resolving ASU strike. This one is coming from the union. Let's look at the riders. Blames Nigerians as 1.7 million students sit at home. This sit at home is scary. Okay, other riders there. Slams federal government over new institutions while 104 varsities remain short. The final rider there said NASU and SANU strike set to go indefinite in 2 weeks. What does that supposed to mean? If you shut down the schools and all the students are at home, causing a lot of problems to us in the society, what is going to be the outcome of this at the end of the day. That's exactly why we are worried about what's going on in the universities. Please, let's see what we can do to resolve this. There's problem everywhere. Abuja Kaduna train attack. Bandits connived with Boko Haram to unleash havoc. Federal government is saying this one. It's still coming from the Daily Independent that bandits connived with Boko Haram to unleash havoc. This is coming from the federal government. If the federal government could say this, what are we going to say? We, the people that are the security of our lives and property, are under their...
So how did they get the intel?
No, they are telling us.
How did they get the intel? How did they identify? How were they able to identify Boko Haram and identify bandits and understand their collaboration? You see, that when I say there is more that meets the eye in this country as far as insecurity is concerned, then we know that this is what we are talking about. During the time of Goodluck, when these people were breeding, somebody in this country said that an attack on Boko Haram is an attack on the north.
On the north, yes.
Suddenly, this Boko Haram has grown with wings, such that it cannot be curtailed, it cannot be tamed by these people that orchestrated their existence. Now, even when this Boko Haram, before they became violent, something happened. Their leader was killed. Now, these people, just like you have in the southeast, when IPOB says sit at home and then they say stop sitting at home, some people now come and they increase it. That's what we have now. Boko Haram is no longer there. It's just bandits. They have different names now, herdsmen. So what are we doing in this country? The moment we are not serious about our security, it's not like we don't know what to do. Allow people to secure themselves. Yes.
So what do you suggest we do?
Allow government should allow people secure themselves.
Let everybody carry arms.
Of course.
Not really.
So if you don't like me, you shoot me.
Not really letting everybody carry arms. Not really letting everybody carry arms. Now that the authorities of the operations of the security is concentrated in Abuja, it should be concentrated more or devolved to the states first. Let the governors have the sole responsibility of taking charge of who they appoint as the security personnel, because there are people that are conversant with the terrain, not strange people coming from a different locality to come and man the security of a place that they are alien to. It cannot work.
Okay, I don't even know where to start solving Nigeria's problem, because one of the problems that were raised about the state police was that the governors will hijack it and use it against their opponents. Okay, which is not impossible anyway.
It is bad. It is rubbish.
Oh, really?
Yes.
It is rubbish.
Okay.
Why I say it is rubbish is that the federal government itself is using the police and the EFCC against political opponents. So why are you afraid that governors will use the state police to withstand their opponents? It is wrong.
Okay.
Because there should be control.
All right, for want of time, let's run. Daily Sun is a newspaper this morning. Beside the name template of the Daily Sun, I have 2023 Ayim Bala Mohammed seek PDP National Working Committee support. Let's look at the rider so that we understand that story clearly. Explain why they deserve party's presidential ticket. I thought they say we have produced a consensus candidate. Why is that? Ayim is from the East. What are they still talking? Explain why they deserve party's presidential candidate again. I hope this house is not leaking. Okay, let's look at the banner headline now. Gunmen kill 4 policemen order in Anambra State, Anambra and Ebonyi. The riders say 5 female students abducted in Zamfara, 2 nuns, 29 others killed in road boat mishap. I'm just too tired of hearing about so many deaths that we record on daily basis. Okay, down here, perhaps that's the one we're going to look at here. U.S. raised Buhari's government law on corruption, says there is widespread fraud. Is U.S. and other international communities seeing only corruption in Nigeria? Are they not seeing insecurity?
No.
And the rate that we are dying here?
They are seeing everything.
Corruption breeds insecurity.